Hi and welcome again to Tech It Out, and to this, the final in the unboxings of our Threadripper build vlog. Today we will be unboxing at last the 1920X, the Noctua U9 TR4-SP3 heatsink and fan, and the Corsair Vengeance LPX 2400 memory. So we're going to start then with this, the Vengeance LPX DDR4 memory. It's 2400 megahertz and 16 gigabytes in total, two 8 gigabyte strips. Now, you could argue that you should use faster memory, but in the run of things, unless you're using really high-end video editing or photo editing software, it doesn't really make that much difference. Now, if you don't believe me on that, you can go have a look on other videos on YouTube itself, and I'd recommend especially Linus Tech Tips, where they test out the various speeds of memory. Now, I could have bought more memory than this, but I was working to a budget, and this was the best memory at the time, and I'm glad I bought it at the time, because the price of memory is absolutely rocketed at the moment. So I got this at a very good price. I could put another 6 strips of 8 gigabytes in with this, giving me a total of 64 gigabytes, but at the moment I don't need that. In the future I might upgrade to a higher amount, because I may want to use a RAM disk, which again is much faster than even my M.2 SSD. But until that time, I'm just going to be using this. So let's get it open. And there are the two strips. If I take them out of the little plastic container, securely fastened in there, and just lift one up. Now these are just plain black. I would have preferred white, or the colour that I was going to do the build in, but the actual case does have black accents, so it won't look too out of the place, and there is a bit of film on there, so let's just take that off. Can get hold of it in my nails. There we go. And the Corsair Vengeance LPX it's well-known memory. It's really well established. It's good stable memory, and it has a good reputation as well. So I'm quite happy to be using this. In the future, I'd be much happier if I could increase it to the full 68 gigabytes or even more. It can actually go up to 128 gigabytes. But for the now, this is good enough for me. Next then we have this, which is the cooling solution. Now I could have gone for a water cooling solution, but I was working to a budget, as I said, and by all reckoning and all reports that I've heard, this particular heatsink and fan is extremely good and almost on par with some water cooling units. This is the Noctua NH-U9 TR4-SP3. 92mm U-type premium CPU cooler, and on there it says tailored custom version for AMD TR4-SP3. So it's actually made especially for the Threadripper build and for the Threadripper CPUs, which is very important because many, if not all the others, have a much smaller heatsink. As you see in a moment, this has a full-size heatsink. Just to go through quickly then, it's PWM fan on it, Secufirm 2 mounting system, offset mounting options so you don't get in the way of your DDR RAM, thermal compound included, and 6 years manufacturer warranty. So let's get this open. Now, as usual, the Noctua colour scheme of cream and brown. Not everybody's cup of tea. I think I'm going to have to take the heatsink out first before I can get the fan out. So if I just slide this up first, and I'll put this to the side, and then we can take the fan out and unpack that. Here then we have the accessories. We have a splitter and a straight connection. We have the thermal compound and a tool, a hex tool by the looks of it, or maybe just a straightforward Allen key. Yes, it's a straightforward Allen key. So you got the Allen key, you got your instruction manual. I think in this instance I'm going to have to take a good look at this, because there are some very precise things that you have to do in a particular order to fit this fan. So for once I will be keeping the instruction manual. And then in the little plastic bag you have the splitters, the connectors and the thermal compound. And the thermal compound is Noctua NH-U9. There's also a thermal pad in there, is there? Oh no, it's a badge. There's also a Noctua badge in there as well for the case. That's the accessories pack. Let's unpack the heatsink and fan itself. As you can see, it's quite a hefty unit. You've got 2 towers of fins, you've got 6 heat pipes going through, and you've got 2 fans in push-pull configuration. If you're ever wondering about fitting a fan, which way it should go, the side that is open is always the side that the air is taken in through, and then the spin would be that direction. And then the side that is closed is the side that the air comes out of. As I said then, the colour scheme is typical Noctua, and again, as I said, not to everybody's liking, but in this particular case, in this build, I think it's going to work quite well. And then on the bottom you have the actual base plate itself, and as you can see, if I don't shine the light into the camera, it's a full size plate equivalent to the CPU itself. So it's going to cover the whole plate and provide heat sink for the whole of the CPU, not just the center part of it, which is what most CPU heatsink and fans or water cooling systems do at the moment. If you're going to buy a Threadripper, make sure you buy a cooling solution that has TR4 as its title, or it has TR4 components to convert it to the full Threadripper build. So that's the heatsink and fan with its components, which only leaves us with the Threadripper itself. So here it is at last then, the AMD Ryzen Threadripper 1920X. Now again, I bought the 1920X as it was a compromise, partly for budget, but also because it has a higher clock speed for gaming than the 1950. The 1950 has extra cores, but this still has 12 cores, 24 threads, whereas the 1950 has 16 cores and 32 threads. It's slightly higher clocked, the boost is more or less the same, and the overclocking potential again is more or less the same. So this would be slightly better as an all-rounder for productivity, for business work, and for a little bit of gaming as well. Quite dusty as well. Now, I've never got into one of these before, I've never opened one of these, so I think you're going to have to bear with me as I discover how you open this. There's a little tab on the side here that says pull, so I'm going to pull down there. Rip here it says, so this is definitely a one and only one take. You won't be able to do this a second time. So that comes off. And then turning it around, there's a little handle there that you can turn. But the top comes off as well. You've got this cone-like structure, almost like a speaker really. And then, does it lift out to there as well? Yes, it lifts out to there. And underneath there, we have a little package. And in the very bottom, we have, I can get them out carefully, the mounting bracket and the tool. You'll see more of the tool in the build itself. This is necessary. It's a unique thing to the Threadripper for actually installing the chip itself into the motherboard. It's a little torque wrench, basically, at the end of the day, if you know what a torque wrench is, and it's got a little hex head on it there. So that's the squeak mounting block and the little torque wrench. Inside here, AMD Threadripper installation instructions, and again I will be checking these as I go along, because these are quite important for a change. They don't just say switch on and press the button or whatever. It gives you exact instructions as to how you are to install the Threadripper itself. Finally then, we get to the CPU, which is enclosed within this little cone. Unlock the power. So unlock it, and that is the cone itself off. There's quite a lot of work gone into this. I would imagine this packaging would have cost quite a bit of money. And that's quite nice actually. You could put a little light behind there. I might hack a little light behind there to have as a little shelf ornament. Again, very dusty for some reason, not exactly sure why. Get rid of the dust out of the way, and we can look at the CPU itself. So how do I get this out? A little handle. Very securely held in by that spring clip, and then there's a button there and a button there. Didn't quite press that one hard enough. So you've got the two press buttons there. Whoop. Live as always, I've just broken the two little press buttons, so I'll leave that in. I won't cut anything out, even my mistakes. And then finally, and I'm not going to break this because this orange part is part of the CPU itself, the Threadripper CPU, the 1920X. You can see there. And then on the other side we have the contacts. The 1920X, as with the 1950X, of course, is actually 4 CPUs on 2 pieces. So you have 4 CPUs, 2 of them are redundant, they're not used. The other 2 are the CPUs, 6-core CPUs in this case, 8-core CPUs in the 1950s case, and they are interlinked into one CPU. So I'm going to be very careful with this and slide it back in. I don't want to go breaking anything off, as I did with those little handles. Glad they're not important. And there we have it. We have our memory, we have our CPU, and if I just reach across once more, we have our heatsink and fan. So that completes the unboxing, and the next part that you'll see is the build itself as we put it together and test it, and then finally boot it up for the first time. But for now though, thank you for watching.